He was spending his weekends focused on client work instead of doing the things he needed for himself and his family. So we worked together for a little bit, and he started taking lunch. He started setting boundaries with his clients, and he started even spending the weekends doing projects for his family and his home instead of just working on his clients. So that's progress, right? So he actually also doubled his rates to his clients in the same period of time. That's pretty good. How many of you would like to work for 90 minutes, take long lunches, and make double the amount of money that you're making right now? It sounds pretty good. There's hope for all of us. So back to the study of those violinists. So how many hours of sleep do you think those violinists got? The real professionals, the ones headed for Carnegie Hall.
8.
They actually got more than 8.5 hours of sleep a night. Now, I don't know if all of you are scared about this next figure as me, but the average American gets about 6.5 hours of sleep a night. I would hazard a guess that for many of you, one of the best things you can do for your business is actually to sleep more. I know, it seems completely crazy, but I really do believe it. Think about, there are significant health benefits when you sleep more. Your immune response actually drops significantly if you sleep less than 7 to 8 hours a night. And how productive are you going to be at work when you're sniffling, you're coughing, your head is aching, and you're actually feeling sort of feverish? That's not going to be your best work. And think about those health goals you might have alongside your business goals. If you sleep less than 5 hours a night, you have a 60% increase in obesity. And even if you're just sleeping less than 7 hours a night, you have less leptin production. What's leptin, you might say? Leptin is that thing that makes you say, oh, actually I don't need dessert, I'm feeling pretty full. It's the thing that makes you feel full. I would like some more leptin, actually. And then, even more scary, I thought, is for people who sleep 4 hours a night, just 5 nights in a row. So I think for a lot of that could be just one big project that we really want to get going, a website we want to launch, a big deal we're in the process of doing. There are deficits in memory, attention, and thought speed that are similar to being legally intoxicated. Basically, if you think about all the stressed out, overworked people who are working on big projects on the road all the time, we're all driving around with a bunch of drunks. So that gave me definitely pause for thought. Another key thing to think about is that while we learn actively while we're awake, when we're sleeping, we actually consolidate and process the knowledge that we learned while we were awake. And so who here has had this experience where you've come up with a problem in the morning once you've woken up that you couldn't solve the night before? Yeah, okay, Mary Ann has. I see other people have too. And I myself, I write a monthly newsletter of strategies for entrepreneurs, and I was trying to write a great article about productivity, or what I hoped would be a great article. And I wanted to give my 5 best tips. But the problem is that I've read so much research, I've thought so much about it, I had so much material that I had about 20 things that I wanted to write about. It was getting all jumbled, and I was just feeling like I had total writer's block. Nothing was coming out correctly. So what did I do? Well, when the going gets tough, the tough go to sleep. Yes, thank you, Josh. And so I did. I went to sleep. And sure enough, when I woke up the next morning, got my kids off to school, and went back to my computer, the article just flowed. And it was amazing, the difference. So I know a lot of you are thinking, I just can't sleep that much. I have too much to do. So one strategy that you can put in place is the weekend nap. If you take like a 60 to 90 minute nap over the weekends, it can have some of the same benefits as an 8-hour sleep. Now, trust me, I'm not giving you guys permission to just sleep 90 minutes every day and say, well, that's just like an 8-hour sleep. But it can be a great way to catch up when you've had a particularly stressful week and a lot going on. So you might be wondering, well, what about my cat naps? I love my cat naps during the day. And yes, those too actually are really helpful. if you just take a 15 to 30 minute power nap, that can have increases of 2 to 3 hours of attention and focus it can have increases for the next 2 to 3 hours of attention and focus. So it can be a great way if you feel yourself drifting to get back with the program. And the other nice thing about those cat naps are you don't wake up feeling the same level of groggy that you do when you've taken a really long nap. So once again, longer naps, good for weekend times and really replenishing and restorative sleep. Cat naps, good for just getting through the day with a little bit more productivity than you might otherwise have. So far we've talked about the power of the 90-minute work and taking a break and the benefits of sleeps and naps. Now I want to talk to you about how to put some of these strategies to work for you without having to flex your willpower muscle all the time. Researchers have discovered this great thing called cues and triggers. Basically, that's an if-then action. Like, if the doorbell rings, I'm gonna go answer the door. If my mail comes through the mail slot, I'm gonna check if there's any letters for me. Those are the habits that we form that we don't even think about doing. Unfortunately, sometimes companies can sort of use these habits against us as well. Facebook is a great example. How many of you have gotten a notification, so-and-so tagged you in a photo? Well, in your email. Yes, thank you. You know all about that, Vernon. So what's the first thing you're gonna do? You're gonna go check that photo and see how good you look, right? And then you're gonna post to your friend, I can't believe you posted this photo on Facebook. And then you see along the side, scrolling, there's your friend's status update. So you comment on some of them and you think, oh, I should update my status. I haven't updated in a while. And you post a little bit about what you're doing. You look at your watch, you've just given 30 minutes of your most productive time to Facebook. So the question is, how can we take that time back and set our own cues and triggers? There was a great study done of exercisers where they asked them, a group of people, how many of you can exercise 20 minutes in the next week? Just 20 minutes in the next week. How many of them could? Less than a third, 29%. Pretty disappointing, huh? I can see some of you making a face over here. I was surprised too. However, when they asked a similar group of people, how many of you guys can exercise? Just 20 minutes next week. Okay, great. Tell us when, tell us what day, tell us what time, and tell us what location you're gonna exercise. How many of those do you think exercised? Actually, almost 100% exercised. I know Marianne is shocked here. But yes, so it was 91%. And that's incredible. That's just because we don't have to think about it. We get to that day, we get to that time, and we think, okay, I need to go to this location and do my exercise. That is also the way we can set up productive work for ourselves. So if you know, okay, morning is a good time to get productive work done, I'm gonna have my morning coffee, and then I'm gonna turn off my email, turn off my internet, and I'm gonna start working on my most important project for today. The key to using these anchors and triggers is about setting your own agenda, and rather than letting the email notifications and Facebook take over your time and take away your most productive time. I had one, a lot of times with productivity, we're not even aware what our time is going to. I had one client who came to me and he was flailing at work. He was seriously behind on 5 projects and he'd had a negative performance review. And so we started talking about what he did during the day. Well, he spent most of the day responding to requests from his team members, on conference calls, on emails, and putting out fires. So when we actually made a list of what he needed to do to catch up on these 5 projects, we realized that if he just spent the first 30 to 60 minutes of his day, every day, for just 2 weeks, he could catch up on 3 or more of these projects. This is someone who's behind at work, and it's just 2 weeks of less than an hour's worth of work to catch up and be a well-performing employee. So I think a lot of us can learn a lot from that about how just a little goes a long way. Before we discuss my favorite way to address the willpower trap, I wanted to just review a little bit. So